It's official. The 2025 LDBC Meet and Greet in Las Vegas, Nevada, August 9th and 10th. Hosted by none other than 78 Sports TV, accompanied by many LDBC content creators you know and love. Come through and enjoy the LDBC Basketball Classic, where Team Voltron will take on LDBC Selects. Come on out and have a good time in a family atmosphere. Children are welcome. Get your tickets ASAP. Use code SHAWA to receive $5 off. See you there. Shalom, family, and welcome back to my channel. Surely, if you have a pulse in this boxing community, you are privy to the news that the fight between Keyshawn Davis and Edwin De Los Santos has been canceled due to the fact that Keyshawn Davis came in at 139.3 pounds over the contractual weight of 135 pounds. That is 4.3 pounds overweight. And it is very disrespectful to not only himself, but Edwin. And I have to say, you did not even try, Keyshawn. And it's clear, it's abundantly clear that it was not even your intention. At the end of the day, coming off of that scale, there was a level of cockiness that was still there. And let me just say that I only recently became a supporter of Keyshawn Davis in the Lemos fight. Oddly enough, Lemos came in overweight in that fight, I think like 6.1 pounds overweight. And the night of the fight, 15 pounds he weighed over. So, and Keyshawn still went through with it, knocked him out. But at the end of the day, he came off of that scale cocky. And the reason I did not like Keyshawn before the Lemos fight is because I felt like he was cocky. Now, many people will say, oh no, he's confident. And maybe that is how some of you see it. But there's a difference to me between cocky and confidence. He's cocky. He's cocky in the fact that he knew that he was overweight. The prime example being coming off the scale, Christina Poncher spoke to him, and he's clearly said that it is his intention to move up to 140 pounds next. Why not just go up to 140 pounds? For some of you that have been messing with me long enough, maybe you recall during the Barinchek fight, I did a video and I spoke to the fact that then Keyshawn said he's moving up to 140 pounds. So you've had intention on doing that, and you knew, again, that you were 100 or that you were overweight. The other key thing, major key that he said, speaking to Christina, excuse me, is that the night before he was trying to lose weight, y'all. So you knew the night before you got on that scale that you were overweight. You clearly had weighed yourself. Now, in the lead up to this fight, there was it is a little piece that Top Rank did called An Inside Look into Keyshawn Davis's Camp, right? I'm going to play a piece of this for you. This is going to be Bomac speaking here.
Keyshawn just said this is the best camp of his career.
Man,
I would say yeah. I would say yeah because the fact that I mean he's hitting on all cylinders. One of the things that I'm learning is to listen to his body a little bit more. His body is not like all fights. He don't need much time to relax. If we do 7 weeks, 4 weeks he is safe. The 4 weeks he is safe.
So Bomac just said that out of a 7 week camp, all Keyshawn needs is 4 weeks to be in shape. He also said in the beginning of that clip, Keyshawn was hitting on all cylinders. So somebody is lying. You can't tell me that your coach doesn't know you're overweight. The thing that I've come to understand is, and it's different for from fighter to fighter, maybe even fight to fight. But generally, these guys are not fighting. They're out of camp 10 days, roughly, give or take, before the night of the fight. So, however many days before he stopped training in that camp, you knew you were overweight. And we know guys are cutting weight right up to the last minute. But clearly you was not really trying to cut. You knew you were overweight. He didn't even look surprised when they announced his weight on that scale. Matter of fact, he jumped his little happy self down and was ready to jump back up in Edwin's face. Um, the thing that I noticed the day before that camp is at the press conference. Now, mind you, they had their clothing on, but Keyshawn looked brolic to me then. And as a matter of fact, I felt like Edwin looked a little drawn in the face, right? Initially, my first thought when Edwin tried to touch his belt and Keyshawn pushed him was that, Keyshawn, you just let this man measure you. But then right thereafter, my thought was, man, Keyshawn looked big and he looked strong, and especially in comparison the way that Edwin flew back, right? And later, after that, after the press conferences, usually both parties will split and go in their own separate directions and speak with the media, right? No, Keyshawn was walking down on Edwin, still talking smack. And my thoughts are, you was overweight. Why weren't you somewhere trying to lose that weight? Because you didn't care to. He didn't care to lose that weight, y'all. Another thing that I found problematic is that leading up to the fight, Keyshawn spoke about Mayweather visiting his camp, but also in that top ranked video, he had Coach Prentice Brewer in his camp speaking good things about him. And to be honest, yeah, rightfully so. But now that you've gone and done this, what is the reflection of them speaking highly of you? Bad business, man. You got people out here vouching for you. Who showed up to the press conference in support of Allen Iverson, Michael Vick? Bad business. You got people putting their reputation, using their celebrity to push your star a little bit. That's bad business, you guys. Now, the other thing is, yesterday I made a video speaking to the fact that Keyshawn got in his feelings yesterday in regards to Abdullah Mason basically not backing down to a question that again was asked by Christina Poncher, asking Abdullah, would he be willing to fight Keyshawn next? Abdullah said yes, and he said he would let his hands do the talking. And shout out to him for that. He's a prize fighter, just like Keyshawn. He's trying to make his way in this game, just like Keyshawn. He don't have to have any fear of Keyshawn. But what should have happened is Keyshawn closed his mouth for the simple fact that you knew then you were overweight. You didn't even make 135 pounds for this fight, but you talking about fighting Abdullah, who is at 135. Now, the funny thing about that is Abdullah did or has been heard to have said that he actually would be willing to fight Keyshawn at 140 pounds. Shout out to him for that. Again, he's a prize fighter, just like Keyshawn, and that young man has an appetite for smoke. He wants to be great. Now, I will say this: I did say in different circles that either way, even though Keyshawn had the audacity to be a jerk yesterday, that fight will not happen, you guys. It wouldn't happen 2 fights from now. It wouldn't happen 3 fights from now. And shout out to Fight Hype. They spoke with Bob. And shame on you, Keyshawn, for trying to bring Bob into it and make this imaginary fight with your little overweight self. Okay. But shout out to Fight Hype. I'm gonna play a piece of that clip and what Bob says as far as making a fight between Keyshawn Davis and Abdullah Mason.
You like that interaction with your next big star Abdullah and your current Keyshawn going at it a little bit?
Well, that's fine. That's okay. They're words. Words don't upset me. As long as they keep their hands to themselves, they can say whatever they want about each other because it figures whether it's 2 years or 3 years or 1 year, they're going to eventually end up fighting each other.
Do you like the idea of it next, like Keyshawn requested, or do you think it needs a little bit more time?
Well, I think that Abdullah hasn't had near the experience that Keyshawn has. So he just needs that experience before he's ready to step in a ring with Keyshawn.
Awesome. Ultimately, you've had a lot of great success on multiple.
So, 1 to 3 years, Bob said. Bob says that Abdullah does not have enough experience. Now, let me say this. Keyshawn Davis is 13-0 with 9 knockouts. Abdullah Mason is 18-0 with 16 knockouts. There are a difference of 30 professional bouts between the two. Keyshawn having 84, Abdullah having 54. We know Keyshawn has a storied amateur background and Olympic. He's a medalist. But Abdullah has a minor amateur background as well. I'm not opposed to them fighting at all. I believe I said that in my video yesterday. I am with it. If Abdullah's down to fight that man, then he should be able to fight him. But we know at the end of the day, we know how these people get down, you guys. It's really no secret that these promoters are not, they're not trying to pit their two stars at the same division against each other, you know, it's just not likely. So to me, there's no surprise in that Bob said that. Again, I called that out. I said that also, um, at the time before Keyshawn lost his title, Sam Noakes was number one under him, Abdullah number two. Sam Noakes would have got a shot at that title next. Either way it goes. And if not him, somebody else. It wouldn't have been Abdullah Mason. Um, the other thing that I wanted to say about Keyshawn is that, it's hard enough coming home to fight. You did it with Limos and you were successful. I believe you sold out the venue, and here we are again. I think that they had pretty much sold out the venue, if not totally and wholly sold it out. But what did the folks of Norfolk think? You people, again, people spent money betting on you. People spent their time making videos about this, doing film study on you guys. Uh, Keyshawn had to spend money for that camp. Someone had to spend money for Edwin, his camp. Like, there's a cost here. Bad business, man. And no matter how much money Keyshawn has, what kind of fool would want to just blindly spend money and spend their time and have no fruit, no nothing to show for it? Thankfully, the good thing about it is Edwin is still going to get his purse. And we all know that Edwin had been ill before this, and he was overweight. So, as I said before, his face looked drawn in. So he's put in work. He's put in time. Somebody paid for that camp. He definitely deserved that. 600,000, I believe they said. And to be honest, they could have topped off a little bit more, because I don't believe he's had a fight in over a year and a half. They need money, just like you and I need money. And it is what it is. What a bad representation, though, for the city, especially for yourself. Bad business, man. I wanted to play one more thing that Keyshawn says on the end of this Top Rank video, the inside look into his camp.
There's never been three brothers in the history of sport of boxing all world champs at one time. So why does sport of boxing not get behind DB3? After June 7th, they're going to be behind DB3. They'll be behind DB3. Yeah. In the history of boxing, we about to break history.
You sound like a fool. DB2. DB2. And it's not, that's not to say that going forward Keyshawn can become a champion again later on down the line. And it has nothing to do with Kelvin or Keon becoming a champion anytime soon. But how likely is Bob to try to set up another title shot for you when you made a fool out of him and yourself? And yourself. It's just crazy. At the end of the day, you guys, it's not all for naught. It's not all to the bad. Shout out to Abdullah Mason. He has been elevated to the main bout in his fight against Jeremy Nakathila. Again, Abdullah is 18-0 with 16 knockouts. Jeremy Nakathila is 26-4 with 21 knockouts. And let me just say something. I don't know that people recognize this, but the fight where Abdullah got knocked down twice, Johan Vasquez, that man also, at the time, he was 26-5 with 21 knockouts. 26 and 21, the same numbers as Jeremy Nakatia, right? Just a bit of interesting information. I don't know if people picked up on, but this card also still has Kelvin Davis versus Nair Albright, Tiger Johnson versus Janelson Boca Chica, you guys. That is one of the bouts also I was very much looking forward to seeing. Um, we all know Tiger moving up to 147. Man, he looked good. I believe that was on the card where he fought someone named Kendo Castaneda, and that was the Michaela Mayer versus Sandy Ryan card. So 147 was looking good on him. He looked healthy and he was cracking. Also on this card, we have Troy Isley versus a man named Etundi Michelle William. You still got Keyshawn Davis versus Michael A. Velez Garcia. And we got Derek Scooter Davis versus Naeem Parker. So still good fights. And before I go, let me just say, let me get on here. Please check out the Pro Box card tomorrow night. Or depending on when you see this video, tonight. Justin Paldo is going to be the main bout on that card. He's fighting, I can't remember the guy's name. Boca Chica's still stuck in my head. He is fighting Juan Carlos Burgos. Burgos has fought everybody, you guys. But Justin Paldo, I have said before, at 135, he deserves a title shot. He's that good. You know, he's been relegated to these Pro Box cards, but I hopefully tomorrow um, they will see something now. He's kind of low off in the ranks, but he really deserves to be a lot higher. His last fight was against Rakhimov, and he tore him up. So, Pro Box card, check that out. I want to thank you for hanging in here with me this long. I appreciate you all. Thank you again, and shalom. Enjoy your fights tomorrow, y'all.